Welcome to Black Travelogues, a weekly discussion on all things travel related for the culture and by the culture. It's time to share and learn from our experiences while venturing around the world. I am your host, Delilah Shante, and now let's prepare for takeoff. Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Black Travelogues. I hope that your 2020 is going well so far. I hope that January is off to a great start. I can't believe that we're almost through January already. It feels like the year just started. And by this month going by so fast, I have a feeling that this year is going to also fly by, which means I need to go ahead and get some more trips on my calendar for the rest of the year because right now, it's a little scarce, but we're getting there as I keep planning. So that's the goal. One of my goals, as I talked about last week with my travel goals for 2020, planning my trips out and everything, as well as bucket list items for real. Anyways, I hope that last week's episode inspired some of you to add some more travel goals to what you have lined up for this year. Even if it's not travel related, I hope that you all have set some type of goals regarding what you want to accomplish this year, just to have something to work towards. We all need to improve in some way, or we all should definitely aim to do something on our bucket list. And if it's fulfillment, you want to feel fulfilled. Oh, that makes sense. But anyways, this week we will be talking about something that I asked myself, which is better? But anyways, before we get into that, this is going to be a fun weekend. I am traveling to Atlanta this weekend, and I will be going to the Honda Battle of the Bands. So if you're not familiar, the Honda Battle of the Bands is an annual tournament. Well, I wouldn't say tournament anymore, but it's an annual band show. It used to be like a competition where different HBCU bands would compete and do like a field show, and it's very entertaining. So it's not a competition, but they do select 8 different HBCU bands to perform, and they usually have an artist. They also have like a college fair that day, and they do a lot, and then there's a lot of events going on. I'm honestly excited because last year they didn't have the Battle of the Bands due to there was a new stadium built in Atlanta. The Mercedes-Benz Stadium Dome was built in Atlanta, and also with the the Super Bowl was last year in Atlanta. And also, what else happened? Oh, you know what? And then the college football competition or championship or whatever they do. Football. All that stuff. But the Honda Battle of the Bands is back this year, and I will be heading to Atlanta. If you're listening to this when it comes out, I will probably be on my way to Atlanta tonight. So, yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I feel like I'm always going to Atlanta, but it's just full of so much great energy and great events. So I'm excited. Another trip I have coming up is Dallas. So I will be heading to Dallas next month. Shout out to all the flight deals that's been happening. Southwest had a flight deal going on for like the past 2 weeks, starting at like $59 for a one-way flight. The cheapest I actually saw for any of my flights was like $80, which is still not bad for a one-way with Southwest, considering you get 2 bags that fly free. And Spirit Airlines also had a sale where you get 33% off a flight, but it had to be a round-trip flight. And then they have their own restrictions with theirs where 33% off, but it has to be a round trip, and you can't fly out on Fridays or Mondays. Oh, and if you're returning, it has to be on these particular days. So that's always something to look out with certain flight deals when you do see these from different airlines. And JetBlue had a flight deal, and I missed it. And you know how, I don't know, if you have Gmail, sometimes they put certain promos to the top of your inbox for you to recommended promotion. I clicked on it all excited, and it's like, oh, this promotion has ended, but hey, book a flight with us. I'm like, no, I need y'all to have another sale. What's going on? But yeah, anyways, what we're going to do now is we're going to hop into what's happening in travel news. So this week in travel news is kind of interesting. Have you ever wondered who has the most powerful passport in the world? Actually, I haven't, but I found this article and I'm like, wow, I never thought about these things. So, according to the Henley Passport Index, which is a company that ranks the passports worldwide, Japan has the most powerful passport in the world. And actually, most Asian countries have the most powerful passports in the world. Travelers with a Japanese passport have visa-free or visa-on-arrival access to 191 different destinations, per the list, which is based on data from the International Air Transport Association. Japan came in first place last year as well. So this report was released earlier this month. And I just think that's really interesting. So it literally lists out all the different countries, and it shows how many countries they have visa-free or visa-on access to once they arrive. And so if you're wondering where the United States ranked, the U.S. tied for 8th place along with other countries such as the UK, Norway, Greece, and Belgium. And the U.S. has visa-free or visa-on-arrival access to 184 countries. Last year, the U.S. ranked 6th with access to 185 countries. So looks like we're declining because the year before that, it was 186 countries we had visa-free and visa-on access to. So I think that's just really interesting that this report actually shows how many countries that each passport can gain you access to. So it looks like the Asian countries out here winning. I said winning. The Asian countries out here are winning. And yeah, hopefully we don't lose access to any more countries, but hopefully we can make peace with other countries so we can regain. But you know how the world is and you know what's going on in the White House. So we'll just be optimistic, guys. But, you know, there's 184 countries we can visit with visa-free or visa-on access. Visa on arrival, my bad. So next up in travel news, I have a story out of Minnesota. So TSA has apologized to a woman who accused an agent of pulling her braids and saying, "Giddy up." So let's stop right there real quick. So you know how you're going through TSA and you have to go through the scanner and they do the procedure where they have the little machine go around you and they have to check, pat you down based on what the machine says. So I'm not sure if she had to go through that exact machine or she just went through the scanner and they had to check for her stuff. But anyways, Terry Huska was traveling through the Minneapolis, Minnesota airport when this incident took place during a security screening. Huska, a prominent activist and lawyer, was returning from Washington, D.C. She told her Twitter followers that a TSA agent was checking her braids for weapons. Y'all. Sidebar. I be so annoyed when they be like, "Oh, let me search your hair." Ain't nothing in here. There's nothing in my hair. But go ahead, do y'all thing. So she told her Twitter followers that a TSA agent was checking for her braids for weapons as she headed home to Minnesota. Instead of conducting a standard check, Husa said the lady pulled her braids behind her shoulders, laughed, and said, "Giddy up," as she snapped my braids like rings. This is what Husa is saying. And she said, "My hair is a part of my spirit. I'm a Native woman. I am angry, humiliated. Your fun hurts." And I feel her. She's a part of the I don't want to mess it up, but she's a part of a Native American tribe. And when she informed a middle-aged blonde woman who had casually used her authority to dehumanize and disrespect her, she said, "Well, it was just in fun. I'm sorry. Your hair is lovely." She said that is not an apology and that is not okay. And I agree with you. That is not okay at all. So TSA did respond, and they said that they hold their employees to the highest standards of professional conduct, and any type of improper behavior is taken seriously. And so she said that she was glad that TSA apologized for that, and she doesn't want the woman to be fired for the incident, but she said she was pleased with the outcome. So I just think it's so disrespectful that people out here think they can just do that to other people. Like, that's okay. First of all, I don't know you. You should be doing your job. Don't grab my hair. Don't grab my braids. Talking about some giddy up. No, just do your job. Let me go so I can get on my flight. That's it. Like, if you're not going to be, like, that's not friendly. That's not cool. And I think people like that need to be checked. And I'm glad that she did say something and, let people know about it. And I'm glad TSA did respond, because they need to make sure that the people they have working there are following procedure and doing their job correctly. Yeah, you may have a long day. You're sitting in the airport. You have all these people coming through your line. Maybe you thought it was cool to make a joke, but that's not cool. Like, you're not about to disrespect me like that. Okay? So, anyways, that was that story. Moving along, I have another story that literally just came out. So, the Trump administration has a new visa rule, and it targets birth tourism. So, the State Department plans to deny tourist visas to pregnant women if officials believe they are traveling here to secure American citizenship for their child by giving birth on U.S. soil. The Trump administration says it is targeting the practice known as birth tourism. The State Department says that traveling to deliver a child in the U.S. is not a legitimate activity for pleasure or a recreational nature. So this was revealed yesterday technically, if it's Friday. Birth tourism poses risk to national security. The department contends that birth tourism has created an industry rife with criminal activity, including international criminal schemes. So I'm reading this in a way I feel like they would have said that. So they would have the authority, under this new rule, they would have the authority to deny a visitor visa if they have any reason to believe the applicant intends to travel to the U.S. for the primary purpose of giving birth, and they will also deny the visa for that applicant. And yeah, it's crazy. Like, can you imagine? Like, that's not your intention, but maybe you're here visiting family or you're visiting friends, or you actually are on vacation and you just so happen to be pregnant. Like, seriously, I get that they're just trying to keep people out, but I feel like they do the absolute most to do everything. But anyways, let me know what y'all think about what happened in travel news recently. There's some more things, but I'm trying to end this not on a bad note because it is Friday and I want everyone to have a great day. So let's go ahead and hop into the main topic. The topic for this week is one that I said earlier. I asked myself this a lot when trying to pick a destination or like what type of vacation I want to do. So we will be talking about cruises versus all-inclusive resorts and which one is best for you when you're trying to decide on your vacation. So this comes from actually my mom and I trying to decide on a vacation, as well as somebody else I know that's trying to pick between if they want to do a cruise or stay at an all-inclusive resort. So I'm going to just go over a few things so you can compare each and like list pros and cons of each one for different categories. That way we can know which one is best suited for me, because some people love cruises and they don't mind being able to be out there on sea and all of that. And some people just like, look, I don't like boats. I want to stick here and stay right on this resort and enjoy the island or wherever I'm staying, and that's fine with me. So first, we're going to the first area we're going to talk about is location. So with cruise ships, oh, by the way, I've been on like over 12 cruises, so I guess I can say that I like cruising, but I started cruising when I was in middle school with my family and everything, so it's been a long time. coming for that. But anyways, so first thing first, location. So with cruises, you have different ports that you go to. But when you initially leave, they have so many different options for where you can leave out of. There's places, well, Florida is mainly the number one area that most cruise ships leave out of for the U.S. There's also cruises in other countries and stuff, or that, you know, dock from other countries. But I'm just going to focus on if you live in the U.S. So if you live in the U.S. or you're leaving for a cruise ship in the U.S., most cruises do leave out of Florida, but there's also other ports. There's one in Baltimore, actually. There's one in New Orleans. There's another one in Mobile, Alabama, Galveston, Texas. There's one in California. So you have different options in different ports that you can leave from. I think there's also one in New York. And there's one somewhere like northwest, because there's a cruise ship that goes to Alaska. But anyways, so I think that's cool because like you can fly. Oh yeah, there's also a port in Puerto Rico. But yeah, they have different places where you can fly to for getting onto your cruise ship. So with that can help people that do not have a passport yet, because you don't need a passport to get onto a cruise ship. But I recommend having at least a passport card, because if you don't, they're going to request that you have a copy of your birth certificate, but like a legit copy of your birth certificate, as well as ID and everything. It makes it easier if you have a passport card or a passport book when you're getting on cruise ships. So that's with that. So the flights would definitely be cheaper depending on where you're flying from and where you're flying to. Usually a flight to Florida is pretty cheap being on the East Coast. I mean, if you're on the West Coast, I'm not sure how that's usually priced out, but it's pretty reasonable to fly to most of the ports. And then if you're in the West Coast, they have ports in Cali, so you can definitely go to a port in Cali if you're interested in doing one of those cruise itineraries. So as well as with the location of the ports that you can leave from, they have different itineraries that you can book with cruises. So most of them are definitely in the Caribbean. So you'll have itineraries where they'll go to like two parts of the Bahamas, like Nassau and Freeport, Bahamas, and they may go somewhere else. You have itineraries that go to like Key West and Cozumel, Mexico. Key West is in Florida. You have ones that go to like all of the different islands. There's cruise itineraries that go to Barbados, Cayman Islands, Jamaica. So it's really cool because you're able to do a cruise, and they start at like 3 days, and some of them go as long as like 15 days. I haven't been on a cruise no longer than like 6 days, but you can go to multiple countries at one time. So I did do a cruise where we went, the last cruise ship I went on, we went to Amber Cove, DR, which is like Puerto Plata. And then we also went to the Turks and Caicos. So we were able to hit both of those islands in one trip, which is really cool. So if you're interested in being able to go to multiple places at once, that's definitely a great option. Also, like, there's this cool itinerary one of my friends did. You have to fly to Spain to get on a cruise ship, but you fly to Spain, but then the cruise ship takes you to Greece and Italy in different cities for like, I want to say it was like an 8-day cruise, but they got to go to like 4 or 5 different cities over there, and I thought that was really cool. So there's so many different itineraries that you can pick from. They have cruises that go to Alaska. They have cruises that go to all parts of the Caribbean. Is really cool. So that's really, as far as location, if you're looking to do that. However, the con, I think, for going to those different locations, you are limited. So once you get to the port, when you dock, you probably get there around like 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. You only have so many hours that you are there. So sometimes you're there from maybe like 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Or they have ones where you're there longer, or some that you're there overnight, but it'll be like 8 a.m. to 8 a.m. the next day. So it's, but most of them are definitely short, where it's like, 7 to 4 or 8 to 5 or 9 to 6, something like that. Sometimes it's longer, sometimes it's shorter. So you are limited on hours, which means once you get off the boat, try to do as much as you can, but you have to make it back to the boat, I want to say an hour before the boat leaves. So if it says 5 p.m., you really have to be on the boat by like 4. So that, takes out another hour for real. But that's the con to me. It's just like, yeah, I get to go to all these different stops, but you can only do so much. And then, of course, you're in the touristy areas. So if you're fine with that, that's great. If you wanted to do more like stuff like, go off the beaten path or go do stuff with the locals and everything, you're not going to be able to do that. You can try. You may find like some type of tour or something, but a lot of the short excursions that they offer or that you can find, they definitely cater to cruise line guests, and so they will make sure that the tour, if you're interested in doing a tour once you get to the island, they'll make sure that you are back to your ship within the allotted time that you have. So they'll pick you up as soon as you get to the port that you're at, and then they'll go take you on your excursion and they'll bring you back. So that, that works out. All right, so for resorts, for location, so unlike cruises, you're usually just going to one place. So, for example, I just did an all-inclusive resort in Jamaica. So we went to, technically not Montego Bay, but it's marketed as Montego Bay, but we stayed in Lucy, Jamaica. And that's the thing with Jamaica. Like, if you go to an all-inclusive resort, you're staying in that area. A lot of people that go to resorts do not leave the resorts, but you can leave the resort. And you can explore. So a pro with that is, if you want to, you can, like, say you're at a resort for like 5 days. You have a week long, you have like 5 days, maybe like 4 really, because the day you leave don't really count to me. But you have like 4 days to actually go explore and do different activities. You're not rushed for time. You can take your time with doing what you want to do. As well as, like, if you are doing a resort, if you say you want to be on the beach, you can do beaches with cruise ships too, but that cuts into like any other activities you want to do in the time that you're there. With a resort, you can go to the beach every single day, because most likely your resort is on the beach, so you can just walk right to the beach, when you wake up. Let me go to the beach and relax. Or let me go to the beach later. Let me go watch the sunrise and everything. So I think that's really cool that you can do that. So that's definitely a pro of being on a resort, is you have more time to do everything you want to do, to explore that island or that city or wherever you're staying. So I think that's beneficial. I'd say a con is you won't get to go to multiple places, but you can go to multiple cities within the time that you're there. So I know, like, when I was in Jamaica, you have like an opportunity if you want to try to go to Kingston and do like a Bob Marley tour, or some of our tours were in Ocho Rios, which was like almost 2 hours away, but you still have the option to do that, and you're not on a time schedule because you are at the resort and you can chill out, so no rush. All right. So the next category I have is being able to move or stay stable. So with cruise ships, you are moving. You have so for example, if you're on a 5-day cruise with 2 stops, you'll start your cruise, say it starts on Monday and it ends on like Friday. So Monday you'll leave, you'll set sail. Most likely that Tuesday you are at sea all day. If hopefully the weather is good. I've had experiences where the weather was like a little, stormy, where it was raining and stuff, and you feel the boat rocking a lot. I've had really bad experiences with that, and if you get motion sickness, that's even worse. However, they do have like these little bracelets, and they have motion sickness medicine that you can take, and it's like cool because you can look out at the water every day, and it's really nice. And it's just, pretty to see. And then you get to go to different locations, as I said before. However, with an all-inclusive resort, you are stable. You don't have to worry about moving. If you get seasickness, you don't have to worry about that unless you plan on doing like some type of catamaran excursion or something. But yeah, it's really stable, and it's good for people that don't want to have to worry about being out on the ocean. Some people do not like boats, and that is perfectly fine. You have to do whatever floats your boat. Well, no pun intended. But anyways, so that's a pro and con, I guess, depending on your interests. For me, it doesn't matter. As long as, like, I've had moments where the boat rocking has affected me. I remember I was on a cruise ship and the boat was rocking, and I was like laying in bed. When I tell you, I felt every single rock, like my stomach started hurting. But when it's like not rocking, that's great. I appreciate when it's not rocking. But I do like the stableness of a resort. I can just chill, go in and out my room, walk around. And you can do the same thing on a boat. Speaking of room, cruise ships tend to have very small rooms. They call them cabins, or like your stateroom. So your stateroom on your cruise ship are very small. And so if you're going with a group of people, I highly recommend not rooming with more than 2 or 3 people. I mean, if you have to, make it work, or try to get a suite because you'll get like bigger space. But cruise ship rooms are very small. You literally go in there just like squeezing past each other, like, oh, okay. It's so tiny. But they do offer different size rooms, but it can be very costly depending on what size room you get. Resorts rooms are like standard hotel rooms, really. Some of them are definitely bigger. Some of the resorts have jacuzzi tubs. They'll have like a living room area. The bed area, you have a lot more space. Like the room I stayed at in Jamaica was very spacious, and I got the junior suite. I didn't even get like a big suite or nothing, and it had like a full living room area. At my area, I had a king size bed, I had a jacuzzi tub in my bathroom, as well as a shower. It was a lot of space in the room, like very spacious. I had my own patio because I was on the first floor, so I had my own patio, and all the rooms had balconies. On cruise ships, you have rooms that, like, on the lower floors, they have ocean view rooms and they have interior rooms. Okay, so I stayed in an interior room, ocean view room, and a balcony room on cruise ships. So interior rooms have no windows at all, literally. So once you turn the light off in there, it is dark. When I tell you it's dark, it is pitch black. And so I remember one time my brother and I had an interior room together, and we did not know what time it was. Like, I'm like, yo, what time is it? It is so dark in here. Like, I need some type of indicator of, like, is it morning yet or what? They're trying to check for the phone. Like, man, I don't know what time it is. I don't want to miss breakfast, So that's one thing. The ocean view rooms have a window that you can look out of, and they have a curtain so you can close it, open it, get sunlight. I like to keep my crack when I had ocean view rooms. That way I just knew, like, okay, it's morning, let me get up. Balcony rooms are cool because you have your balcony, and they'll have like chairs out there, and you can, like, look over your balcony and get fresh air, and you have a bigger view of, like, when you open your balcony to look outside. So that's really nice. So yeah, you definitely have your options, and with resorts you have options of, like, different size rooms as well, but they're more spacious. So let's see what else. This is a big one, cost. So when you think about everything you're paying for and what's really included for either a cruise ship or resort. So let's start with a cruise ship. So depending on your cruise line, well, I've been on Carnival. I haven't been on Royal Caribbean or anything. So the cost does include all the different activities that they have on the boat. However, there's some activities you have to pay for, such as like the casino or something. You want to do something extra, or like they have these bingo tournaments and like buying different things. So it does include all of your food. It includes water, tea, and juice. And when I tell you that's like the drinks it includes, that's it. Like soda you have to pay for. And liquor you have to pay for. And yeah, so like things like that you will have to pay for. And I'm not kidding you, it adds up. But they do offer drink packages on cruise ships. However, say you and your roommate are rooming together. Like say you are rooming with a friend. One of you drink, one of you doesn't drink. If y'all both are over the age of 21 and you're on Carnival, for sure, I know. Everyone in the room has to get the drink package. And that's like $200, I want to say around $250. So that's on top of what you already paid for the cruise. So say your cruise was like $600, $700, you're adding on another $250 just to cover alcohol. For some people it adds up because it's an unlimited drink package, and that includes like the soda, all of that stuff, but it also includes all your liquor. But they do offer drink packages if you don't want to drink. Like they have a kids one as well that you can get. And to me, I do not drink a lot, so I've never purchased a drink package because I'm not a big drinker. So to me, it's not a big deal. For some other people, it's a big deal. And they do have like a 5-minute wait between ordering drinks, and then you have like a maximum of 14 or 15 drinks within a 24-hour period. That is a lot of drinks. I don't even drink 14 drinks throughout a whole cruise. So for me, it wouldn't be beneficial. So that like cuts down on the cost for me as far as spending and how much I'm going to, need to bring as far as cash. For a resort, all-inclusive resorts offer alcohol with the cost. So you get alcohol, and depending on the resort you stay at, it may or may not be top shelf or premium brands. So some resorts have like premium brands. Some of them have like local brands and things like that. And they have like regular like liquor. Like the resort I stayed at, they had I'm not really a big drinker, so but they had all types of liquor, like Jameson, a whole bunch of rum because I'm in the island, and some other stuff. Y'all, I'm not a drinker, so I suck at this, but I do know I stayed at this resort in Dominican Republic, and I was in one of the platinum rooms. So they have a platinum and regular rooms. So the platinum room had like the platinum side had like its own platinum lounge that had top shelf liquor, and that was cool. But the resort had pretty good liquor in general. At that resort, it was called Bavaro Princess in Punta Cana. So I really enjoyed that resort. And those rooms were nice too. And they also had jacuzzi tubs. So yeah, but the cost, you have to look at what's included. Also like on a cruise ship regarding costs, like your food is included, but they do have like specialty restaurants. Like there's steakhouses on certain cruise ships, or they have like certain different dinner things that it's just extra. You don't have to do all of that. I did it once, but they also have like a seafood shack on some cruise ships. So one of the cruise ships I went on had a seafood shack, and they had crab legs. I don't know if I just was craving crab legs or what, but it was so good. And then they was showing Black Panther at the same time. I was sitting there eating crab legs and watching Black Panther on the cruise ship. Great times. All-inclusive resorts do offer like a whole bunch of restaurants. So a lot of times they have different themed restaurants. They have buffet style restaurants that's on a resort as well. And depending on which resorts you're staying at, it can be hit or miss. I stayed on resorts that had horrible food where I'm just like, I have to eat out of this resort. Like, I cannot eat on this resort. The food is disgusting. The last resort I stayed at had really great food. Like, but of course, I mean, it's Jamaica. How can y'all mess food up, right? I'm pretty sure it's possible. But Jamaica, the resort I stayed at in Jamaica had really great food. Cruise ships have pretty good food too. They also have like, they do different themes. Instead of like a themed restaurant, they'll have like a different theme for each day. Ooh, I'm sorry, y'all. My alarm went off. So they'll have different themes for each day. And it just depends on, what you care about. Either way, you're probably going to get a good meal. But as far as drinks, definitely like all-inclusive is the way to go if you do not want to worry about paying for drinks. And on cruise ships, if you're fine with paying extra for a drink package or you don't care about spending like $10 to $12 per drink, yeah, I want to say it's like 10 to 12 average per a drink on a cruise ship if you don't get a drink package. So that's something to consider. Another thing to think about as far as cruises or resorts are the activities that are available. So on cruise ships, you are on this boat all day, right? Especially like the days you're at sea. So cruise lines do a very great job of making sure you are very entertained. So they have a fun director, or cruise director that they call it. And that person pretty much every morning is like, good morning, blah, blah, blah. Today we'll be having this, blah, blah, blah. And it's really cool. Like they have I love when the cruise directors have so much energy and, tell you what's going on. Like the last couple cruises that went on had really great cruise directors. They were just full of so much energy, and I really appreciated that. But they have all types of things. Like they'll have like contest, trivia. I went on one cruise where they had this like adult game night where you had to have like your own team or whatever, and so the team was the people you were with at that like table or section in the lounge area, and they had different challenges. Like it was like send somebody from your team up here that's a male with a bra on or something. And it's just like, okay, so you're gonna get a bra on. So of course you have to like try to see like, okay, you're gonna have to do this. Or it was just so many fun challenges. And they do there's this place called like the Lido deck, or like the deck that's outside where there's like a pool area and everything. They'll have like a hairy chess contest. They have deck parties, Congo lines. So they keep you entertained. They also offer like Broadway shows on the boat. Not Broadway, but like kind of like the musical. I don't know if it's Broadway or like Vegas style. Anyways, it's pretty cool. Resorts also offer like different shows and stuff too. And from looking at both, I want to say I think that cruise lines do a better job as far as their activities. Resorts do offer activities, like they'll maybe have water aerobics, they'll have dance classes, they'll have like beach volleyball. They offer like water, like their free water sports, which probably include like kayaking or something. And they usually offer like a free scuba a free scuba class or something. But yeah, so those are, I'd say activity-wise, I think cruise ships got resorts beat, because resorts to me seem like a lot more relaxed. I would say like some resorts have like pool parties. Like I did stay at this adults-only resort in Punta Cana, DR, and they had a twerk contest. They had foam parties. They were lit, okay? They were so lit. They were turned up. Like, I was like, oh, okay. So you have your party resorts and you have your like, let's chill, relax resorts. And cruise ships, depending on which cruise line you go on, that makes a difference. And some cruise lines even have like rock climbing walls. They have like these little zip line things. They have water slides, but some resorts have water slides too. They I think one cruise line actually has bumper cars on their cruise ship. I want to say it's Royal Caribbean. I think they even have like ice skating on one of them. But yeah, they have a lot of activities. They even have like the little surfing thing where you can like do the little wave thing or whatever. So that's really cool. So they do offer so much to do. They have arcades, they have casinos. Some resorts have casinos, but I think the cruise ship casinos definitely win depending on which resort. It definitely depends on your resort, because some resorts have really nice casinos as well if you're into gambling. So as far as activities, I'm going to say cruise ships win for me. But it also depends on what type of vacation you're trying to have. If you're just trying to relax and not do too much and you don't care about all the activities they have going on throughout the day, then definitely do a resort. But if you care about all of those things, definitely lean towards the cruise. They even have like, they usually do like wine tasting or liquor tasting. Because I remember I went on one, they had like different liquor tasting and you got to taste white Henny. Oh, and cruise ships have like the duty-free liquor on the ship where you can buy liquor. And it's a lot cheaper to buy liquor on a cruise sometimes than it is on different islands or resorts, because some of them be taxing. Like Jamaica was trying to charge like $70 something for a bottle of white Hennessy. I got a case of white Hennessy on a cruise ship for $45 each per bottle. So yeah, that makes a difference. So like if you're into like all the duty free stuff, cruise ships definitely offer it, and sometimes like the ports that you go to may have it for cheaper too. So it just depends on where you're going. All right, so let's see, what's another thing regarding pros and cons? Let me think. I feel like I covered a lot. Let's see. I talked about the price. Yeah. Oh, like, so let me go back to price really quick. So say you are doing a cruise, you have to fly to the port, but you don't have to fly. Some people drive. For example, like there's a port out of Baltimore. If I was to take a cruise and go out of Baltimore, that saves me flight money. So I can just drive my little hour to Baltimore, maybe an hour and a half to Baltimore, and hop on a cruise, and the only thing I'm paying for is the cruise and maybe parking, or if I Uber. So like they do have parking at cruise ports that you can use. And so like it depends. Some people do not mind driving hours to get to a cruise port. I've definitely seen people drive 6, 8, 12 hours instead of taking a flight, because they have a lot of people with them and it's just cheaper to drive and rent a van or something to get to the cruise port. With an all-inclusive, you are flying out of the country. So depending on where you go and depending on what country it is, the flight prices can add up. So for example, this Jamaica trip, normally it's cheap to fly to Jamaica. Like my flight going to Jamaica was only $140. My flight coming back, I think it's probably because I waited too long, but it was high, okay? It's way more than what I wanted to pay for. And then also depending on the time of the year or where you're flying from, like some people were paying like $600 for a round trip ticket to Jamaica. And I'm like, this is absurd, you know? Do not want to do that at all. At all. So definitely something to think about when you're pricing it out, because you definitely can get good cruise ship deals. And you can save money because you're not paying for the flight. Or if you are paying for the flight, it's probably cheaper than flying international. And also, like I mentioned earlier, if you're doing a cruise, you don't need a passport, but definitely double check with the cruise line, because I think a while ago some of them were changing, like, oh yeah, you're going to need a passport card or passport book. And that's the cool thing about cruises. Like you can go to these different countries and you don't need a passport because you're not staying there more than like 8 or 9 hours anyway. So you don't need a passport because you're not staying there overnight. But definitely double check with the cruise line on their requirements for that. So yeah, but you definitely need a passport for the resorts. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up for this. I hope that this topic has helped people figure out if I want to do a cruise ship or if I want to do a resort. If there's any other questions you have about which one is better, let me know. Some of the common things, you know how you have that was it a Venn diagram? I haven't used those in so long, but I'll say some of the things in the middle of the Venn diagram, if you don't care which one you're doing, they both have like their own casinos, they both have their own nightclubs, they both have their activities, they both have food. And they're both fun, and depending on the time of year you go, they can both be very affordable. Or if you don't care about price, hey, do what you need to do. But they are both fun, and I think you should experience both. Both you are going to somewhere different, a different location, and why not just try to enjoy yourself? Either way, cruise ship or all-inclusive resort, definitely take advantage of trying something new. I recommend Carnival. I really enjoy going on Carnival cruises. They're called the Fun Ships, and they are definitely fun. And I definitely want to try Royal Caribbean because I've heard great things. They are more expensive than Carnival, but they also offer more activities. As far as all-inclusive resorts, I stayed in resorts in Jamaica, Dominican Republic, and Mexico so far. So I want to go to Aruba and Costa Rica and some other places. So I want to see how those are so I can also give a review on those. Oh, also update. I got some stuff to start my YouTube channel. So I will be doing a review of my stay at Grand Palladium, Jamaica. And so we're going to test this out next week. And I will be uploading that to the YouTube page because I just want to see how this goes. So I'm excited. So I will be posting about that on my page once I get it up and running. And now I'm going to go ahead and move into the business of the week. The business for this week is J and Mamu. So J and Mamu was designed to promote Black empowerment and excellence through positive messages of self-love and cultural acceptance. J and Mamu's objective is to liberate and unify individuals by reversing the spread of social memes and propaganda through knowledge of self. The founder's name is Jelani Amamu. The name Jelani means powerful or mighty, and Amamu means leader. And I hope I did not mess your name up, Jelani. But anyways, I was inspired by Jelani's brand because he offers a lot of dope apparel. And one of the things that stuck out to me was the professions apparel. So he actually, I don't know if he lives abroad right now, but I know he was living abroad, or I know he does travel a lot. I think he did remote year. I'm gonna double check with him, but I want to say he was doing remote year, which is something I really wanted to do at one time, but I'm not sure yet. But some of the shirts and the professions category of his clothes is just like, this is what an engineer looks like, this is what a global speaker looks like, this is what a computer scientist looks like on his site. But he also has different types of categories. Like he has shirts that say horticulture, melanin, like black power, black girl, like all of those different things. And it's really dope. And I really love his brand. So I definitely wanted to give him a shout out. And I'm also going to put the link to his website and the link to his Instagram page on the notes for the show. But yeah, I just think like this is what a global scientist looks like, or this is what a photographer looks like. I think it's cool to wear that while you're traveling because you can show the world like, hey, this is me, I'm Black, yes, and I'm the bomb, and this is what I do, this is my profession. So I don't want you to assume that I do something else because this is what I do. And you're probably like, oh. And I just think it's really cool because especially like different fields, there's so many people of color, or Black people. I just say Black people. There's so many Black people in so many different professions. We all do so many things, even outside of some people's 9 to 5 or outside of what they do for their main career. People have things that they're passionate about. I know people that are speakers. Like I have a friend, Teddy. She was on a recent show. She's a speaker. She's a podcast host. She has her own businesses, and I think that's dope as well. And she's also in the IT field, and I want to say she's a project manager. I think that's cool. It's like you hold so many hats. So many people hold so many hats. So like with his brand, I like that his shirts are able to highlight, this is what I do. So I definitely will be ordering a couple shirts so I can wear them on my next trip. So I can like, you know what? This is what a software analyst look like. However, I don't think he has that on there, but I'm gonna see what else he has on there. But definitely check him out. And yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I hope you all have a wonderful weekend or week or whenever you're listening to this. All right. You have reached your destination. We look forward to having you again next week with Black Travelogues. As a reminder, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and also follow us on Black Travelogues. Have a great one. Goodbye.